Rasmus Mackeprang, who received his PhD from the University of Copenhagen. Rasmus worked at CERN for the Atlas Trigger, then for the University of Copenhagen, and then as a high school teacher. He currently works as senior analyst at NiCredit, where he validates credit risks models. Rasmus.
Hi, my name is Rasmus, and we have all promised to stay below 5 minutes, so I'm just going to start a timer here. And I'm going to talk a little about where I am now and where I was. So I'm less of a graphic designer than so many others, but life is not always so easy to get an overview of. So first of all, as you can see, I'm very, very old. Back in the day, I was doing work in the Aleph experiment at LEB and the H1 experiment at DC. I was programming in Fortran 77 back when that was a cool thing to do. I don't know if that was cool actually, but we did it anyway. And then at some point, I managed to squeeze a PhD out of the University of Copenhagen in 2007. And some of the stuff I was doing, I've tried to put some pointers there. I was in the Atlas experiment. You can see on the wall behind me if the camera is good enough. I was also writing Gen 4 code, but not with the Gen 4 collaboration. Studying supersymmetry, extra dimensions, and aspects of strong nuclear force because, well, it's one of those things in physics. Once you've tried it, people think you're good at it, and then you keep doing it. I was also in the transition. Well, I was in the transition radiation track on Atlas. I just dug up some emails mentioning Andrea from the combined test team in 2004. In 2008, I started a CERN fellowship working in the Trigger. Trigger menus, which was a lot of coordinating between physics groups and writing Python code to configure C++ code and some such. My research subjects were still supersymmetry, extra dimensions, ESM in general, and QCD. Then I came back to University of Copenhagen for a brief stint. As you can see, I had a 5-year contract, and then my wife couldn't get answers to a job application, so I sent a letter to a high school saying, I'll work for you if you hire her. So that was an investment in 2 permanent positions. So time to have kids, house, and so on. And then after around 7 years, I thought, well, now I'm bored. So it's time to capitalize a bit on all that stuff over to the left. So what am I doing now? I work for NiCredit, which is the biggest mortgage broker in Denmark. We cover half the Danish mortgage market. So when I work with a real estate pricing model, I validate it. I work in model validation, so because it's kind of important to know what the value of your loans are when you've borrowed a lot of people, a couple of billion of kroner. I don't know how many hundred millions of euros that is. Denmark is a small country. Then we have credit risk models called IRB model, internal rating-based approach. We have rating models. What's the probability you will default? What's the loss if you default? Multiply those 2 numbers, you get a risk. If you do such a risk measurement, then you are obliged to validate it. Again, that's me. I hit the models and see if they break. And what do I rely on here? Well, from research, general coding skills. You remember from research that there would always come a problem you didn't know how to solve, but you just have to solve it eventually. So that will lead on to be systematic, don't give up. And well, Andrea said we were perfectionists. I say we had to meet a deadline back in the day. If someone was scooping you in research, you had to be there first. So that's something I also carry with me. And then, well, stakeholder management. Atlas was a big collaboration, a lot of people, a lot of interests. So I carry that with me in a large organization. Teaching. Well, amazingly, they kind of like it in finance that I was a high school teacher because I can tailor communication to who I'm talking to. Am I talking to a student that needs to know something? Am I talking to a boss that really wants to know as little as possible? He just wants to know if it's good or bad. And well, the instinct of sharing knowledge. Whenever I learn something new, then my colleagues learn something new, and I think they, well, I hope they appreciate that. So that was me in brief. I think just gonna stop here.